earlier's live, I wasn't able to save it, and I realized that some people were gonna miss out on that conversation, but you know, whatever's.
Whatever's.
We are live from the beautiful city of
Orange County. Or, sorry, that's the county. Fullerton.
Fullerton
is the city.
The city of Fullerton.
So we are where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
What?
You were like,
Oh, it's because I was checking this thing out of it. We are excited. Hi, John.
Hi.
Again.
Hello again.
we didn't get a chance to save. Actually, I messed up. I
don't know about this Wii stuff.
Yeah.
I had no access to the phone, so I did not know. I was looking at it because I wanted to see how ugly I looked crying. So I'm like, I'm gonna look and see how that went down. In the process of looking, all of a sudden we got a black screen that said this video was taken down from the user, and I was like, well, wasn't me.
Sorry. It's because after I ended the live, it gave me an option, and I was like, it looked like it was going to take me live again. I was like, I don't want to go live again. So then I clicked no, and I exited, and then it turns out I deleted it. Hey, what's up, David?
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hi, Sister C.
Sister C in the house.
Sister Carol Ann.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't see that first video, yeah,
I'm so sorry. It got real.
You know, I literally was like, man, that was the first time I got really vulnerable online, and he then deleted the video.
I'm sorry. There's only room for one crybaby here. No, I was kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I know what happened, but it was an accident. I'm sorry. I wanna personally apologize to you for.
If you didn't want me to cry, you shouldn't have asked me the question.
No, it's not that. It's not that at all. So hello. So David got his new schedule, and he's not happy. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, David.
Yeah, that's not good. Hi from Manchester, England. Hello.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy from Manchester, England. Greetings from Fullerton, California.
Yep.
U.S. and A.
U.S. and A.
Or U.S. of A, I should say.
And A, yeah, that's better.
Earlier we were just really briefly discussing. Erika was pointing out how things have sort of shifted for her spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
She was obviously very happy to consider herself a Christian, and then a couple of things happened, and it's not that you feel like you're not.
No, Roxana, you're not dreaming.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like you feel like you're not faith, like you don't have a faith anymore, right? Like it's not like you don't believe anymore.
No, I believe, and I still have my faith. It's just there's the questions and the doubts of whether or not I want to call myself a Christian, label it as something, as like a religion, I guess. But the question of whether I love God or have Christ in me, or no, that's still there, like really, really there, which what I was saying earlier in the video has really, they took a little bit of a turn. I feel a little bit lost, confused, conflicted with so many things, and that's because I have other people's ideas, opinions, thoughts that are clouding and kind of interfering with what's really important, and that's the relationship that I have with Christ. It has kind of made it feel a little bit like I don't even know if I can consider it a relationship with Christ based off on what people say it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be, which that's where the confusion comes in for me. And then it gets a little too hard, or I'm very emotional, especially when it comes to Christ, because I have so much love for Christ. So when I feel like I'm being questioned, or not really me per se, but I see people's comments about him and they're questioning him, and I'm like, well, but I love just like him. So does that mean that I don't have Christ within me? Does that mean that am I really a Christian? So then I kind of have to take a step back. And I think that's where I'm at right now. Like I've hit a hard part. And
yep. See, like David Wellman makes a good point. So he says, the way I see it is, if I make bread and cakes as a profession, would I not call myself a baker? Yes, right? But then you have people come in and say, yeah, but did you go to school for baking? Yeah, but do you only bake this type of treats, or do you also, do you make wedding cakes? Because unless you're making wedding cakes, then you're not really a baker. Or
Mm.
if you don't, are not, if you don't work with fondant, is that what it's called? Fondant?
Yeah,
Yeah,
fun. It's like
fondant.
that, like
Yeah.
thicker.
If yeah, then are you really a baker? And then it becomes like tricky, right? So I guess we're
Yeah.
like in that phase where we're questioning what it really means. I mean, am I a Christian? I mean, yes, right? The definition fondant is of the devil. Um, the answer is like yes, flat out yes, right? However, when it comes to how people define it, there's a lot of definitions out there. There's a lot of things that like you have to be, do, say, practice, read, and if you don't do those things, then you're not taken seriously as a Christian. That's all. But
Yeah. And I think when I first got into it, it was more of those things I didn't really know what it was. I didn't even, I still am figuring out the definition of a Christian. And so in the beginning, when I was starting my journey with getting back into my faith and really taking that walk down that journey again, because I've always believed in Christ, I just never took the time to really go to church, read and do my daily devotionals, read scripture, stuff like that. I never did that. That was never part of it. And when I started really getting back into it, going to church, finding a church, just really and enjoying it and like finding a lot of enjoyment out of it, I didn't really know what it meant. And so I think me calling myself a Christian right out the gate was like one of those things. I saw my mom, my sister, my relatives, stuff like that, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just call myself a Christian without really asking myself the questions. It was like I was going based on everybody around me, and I'm like, all right. It was kind of like I was following instead of really leading myself into it on my own or being led by Christ. I was being led by others, if that makes any sense. And I think that's where everything gets clouded.
mm-hmm.
I see people's comments, like on what not to do, this is what you're supposed to do, this is the only way, that's the way. No, you're listening to that person, that's the wrong way. And then I'm listening to everybody, so many people, and sometimes I forget to listen to the one that I'm supposed to be really listening to, and that's Christ. And I forget that my relationship with him is what I'm supposed to be on, and then it just becomes complicated, and it makes me, well, that's why I got really emotional in the last video, because it's just one of those things where I'm not feeling very happy and joyful. Like I have a lot of hurt and sadness within me because I see certain things that are said and done, and I see some people that are not accepted, and I'm like, and they're being done by people they call themselves Christians. So then I'm like, do I want to call myself that? Do I want to be a part of that? Is that how everyone is? And I don't like to categorize and put everybody in a box, or like everybody. It's just,
I think one of the things that you and I both have run into is that there are people who believe a very specific way, and they say, if you don't believe in the way that I believe, then are you really a Christian, right? The other part of it is that condemning people under this, and condemning and judging people, and then disguising it as, well, the truth hurts, and the reason why you're hurt by it, or the reason why it hurts, is because it's the truth, and the truth is going to hurt you. No, you're just being a jerk. Like, I'm sorry, but you're just being rude, you're being mean, and you're disguising it as righteousness, or you're disguising it as telling the truth, and sometimes that's not it. I mean, it isn't that way.
yeah,
Because I think the wall that we both hit was that one particular video that we did
the Romans,
when we were covering Romans.
yeah. And I think that was something that's just tough. The topic that was brought up during that evening was a little bit hard for me. I wasn't even actually on the screen because I already wasn't really feeling well that day, and I opted out on that one. I was on the side, but I wasn't on screen with him. And I think it was like, honestly, like God's way of saying maybe I shouldn't have been there for for that reason, because what was brought up in that evening, it was very tough for me. There was something tragic that hit in my family, me, that that he didn't even know about fully yet. Like I hadn't even talked to him about, and it just brought back to the questioning of, if I really want to be there or that, and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is something that's still like a thing, that's an issue, or a topic that's hard to even still talk about, because not everybody wants to hear your opinion, but I'm supposed to hear what you have to say, and you generalizing the you. I wish I would be more open to having those kind of tough, because they are tough conversations. It's just when the other person is so stuck into this is how it is, it makes it very challenging for me, and I don't really sometimes have the desire to want to, because I don't want to argue,
Right.
you know, and sometimes it becomes argumentative, and I don't like that. But it's since then, since that day, I think I've been really like unsure of what I want to call myself, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was a tough one for you to. That was a tough one for you too. I think.
Yeah. The tough thing about the tough wall that I hit was that I had already started my relationship with the Great Spirit before. I built this really strong bond, and I call him the Great Spirit because one, he's a spirit and he's great. The thing is that when I started listening and hearing the stories of Christianity, it made sense naturally it made sense what Christ's part played in our lives, right?
Yeah.
And it made sense to follow a being that was absolutely perfect, that came to show us how we should live our lives. All of that was important. The thing is that the wall that we hit was that you finally let sort of, not a guard down, but you sort of say, okay, cool, I'm in. And then it becomes this thing that's like, okay, but have you done this? Have you said this? Have you read that? Have you gone to church? You need to go to church. You need to be around people. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this, that, and it becomes this. And the more you add to it, the farther it seemed like Christ was, like farther and farther and farther, and sort of almost unattainable, almost, right? And then it's like, what happened to my relationship? My relationship was like really close, and now I feel, because of what people say that it should be like, I feel like my relationship was farther away now, because I'm this human being that's like sinful and in nature and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, so you know, I had to hit the pause button there and figure out again what my personal relationship is. I'm very cautious not to allow other people to tell me what my relationship with God is. It's like I said earlier, it's like my neighbor telling me what my relationship to my mother is. Like, you don't know my mother.
Yeah.
You don't know how I relate to my mother. So it's not for you to tell me how I should relate to the Father.
Yeah.
It's between me and the Father.
Which can get clouded when you let others people's opinions really dig too deep into that relationship. And that's been one of my things that's been challenging. I have well, yeah, like I said in the other video, my relationship with Christ didn't stop, but I kind of pushed away or stepped away, because of other people's opinions. And I would see other people's relationship with Christ and go, well, mine doesn't look that way. And I'm comparing my relationship with Christ with other people's relationships with Christ. Like I don't have this big testimony. Like, so I'm thinking like, well, did I ever really have like that big relationship with Christ? So I'm thinking that you need to have this I don't want to say grand testimony, but this big miracle thing that's happened to you in order for you to have that strong bond with him. And I've never really had that. I have a testimony. I listen to other people's, and I see other people how they're, so I don't know, sometimes I compare my love that I have for him to hear how other people have their love for him, and I'm like, well, sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not as worthy of his love, because maybe I don't read the Bible every day. I don't know every scripture. I don't know every verse. I don't know every story. I don't know everything like that. And so I think about it, I'm like, well, then maybe I should really question if I'm even worthy of his love, because I don't study his word like everybody else does. And it's just, I lose focus on what's really, really, really important. And that's just continuing that relationship with him and asking and having conversations with him. You know, like when I pray, that's usually what it is. I have a conversation with Christ. I don't always have like a script of how I pray. Sometimes it's literally like a thank you. And, you know, it's just, I compare myself with other people. And that's the hard part, I think, that I get myself in. And I see other people and I'm like, I want to be like that. But then I'm like, well, I'm me. This is my journey. This is my relationship. Every relationship looks different. But when you have people saying, no, it's supposed to be this way. no, you're doing it this way and that's not the right way. I mean, do we really know which is the right and which is the wrong way? I mean, we're all different. We have different, you know, journeys and experiences. They're not all the same. And I think that's what makes it that much more, does that make sense? That much more beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's what we're just beautiful children of Christ. And we all have different stories. And I just wish that sometimes it could be enough. I know it's enough for him, but I wish that we could all come together and it could just be enough. That our stories are different, our backgrounds are different, how we came to Christ is different, how we interact with Christ is different. And I just wish that we could all look at it that way and just love one another for wherever you are in your journey. You know, like not judge anybody. Don't make people feel bad or guilty. That's the one thing. Don't pressure people either. The peer pressure, the guilt tripping, the fear that some people put in people to like follow Christ and be really religious or call themselves a Christian or not. Like there's some people that put a lot of fear, and that's not the way that you should go about it. I'm speaking from experience. Don't scare somebody into it, because then they're doing it for the wrong reason. They're doing it because they're afraid, and we shouldn't interfere with that. We shouldn't interfere with somebody's journey. We shouldn't be encouraging when somebody says something that maybe you don't agree with. You don't have it's okay to disagree, right? I mean, but there's a way to go about disagreeing. I think that there shouldn't be just straight out, you're wrong and you're gonna go to HE double hockey sticks because you didn't do A, B, or C. Like, or it's not right.
I mean, well, it's a good thing that it's not up to another human being to determine that, right? Like the fate of what happens to you after you're dead isn't in the hands of another human being who's looking at your life and saying you're living it wrong, and therefore you're going to HE double hockey sticks. It's totally up to God. And the same is true for the opposite, is that you can be a good person, you can go to church every week, you can read the Bible every single day and have your daily prayers and all of that stuff, but that doesn't guarantee that when you reach the gates of heaven that you're going to be allowed in. Because there's a lot of things to it, Love, I think, is one of the biggest ones. I mean, I don't know if I sound like in the movie, what is it, Dinner for Schmucks? You may think that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not. The only one. No, I'm not. Everyone is different. Your experiences are different. You and I could both have the same experience, but you will internalize it completely differently based on your cultural background, based on your personal experience, or how you grew up, your ideas of the world, your maps of the world. Like, everybody will have a different thing, and that's where I am. It's just
I just been in a really torn, like, what did you tell me? Like, you told me something earlier, but I'm just I don't know which direction to go. Whether it's like, I feel like I'm at a stop right now. I'm not stopping with Christ. I'm not just like, oh, okay, I don't believe in Christ anymore because of the struggles. No, I'm still a firm believer, and I'm still following his way. I just feel like I've taken a step back because of the comments that I see, that I read too, and they're not even really directed towards me. They're comments towards him. But then it's like, we kind of have a lot of similarities when we have our deep conversations and we talk to one another and we relate and agree. We sometimes disagree, but we have a way of disagreeing and somewhere coming to a middle with our different ideas. And when I see people telling him stuff that are like hurtful, it hurts me, because I'm like, we shouldn't be behaving that way. We shouldn't judge anybody. Like, it's not our place to judge anybody. It's not. And we, as people, we take what other people have to say so to heart. And why I do that is because it hurts me to hear other Christians and other followers be so aggressive in their approach. And sometimes their words can be hurtful. And I'm like, why are you treating me this way? I'm not saying that I should be treated anything different, but I think that we should just love one another. And it just, sometimes I don't always feel that, and it breaks my heart.
Sorry, turn the window down.
No, it's okay. We're in the car, so.
It's getting a little warm in here.
And it's heartbreaking to see. And sometimes if I can use, it's disappointing. And I think that it disappoints me because I came to you as like a, yeah, I'm a Christian, and you were very open to the idea, and I knew where you stood, and I didn't think that I was ever aggressive with my approach. I didn't just, I don't even think I was respectful. I would be listening to my worship, and I'd be like, are you okay if we, and not because I didn't think he was like, oh my gosh, my ears are burning, I can't listen to it, but I wanted to be respectful of him, but he was respectful that I liked it, and he was open to listening to it, and that was the first time that somebody was very open with me as well on the other end.
I think it goes a really long way to show another person respect, and it generally opens up the door for that person to respect you too. So she was respectful that I didn't have a church or a religion, and I was respectful that brought her comfort in some way. And then plus her just casually listening to the music in the background. I was listening to some of the words and some of the music, and I'm like, that's really nice. Like I heard the passion in the music, and I heard the passion in the lyrics, and specifically with that song Oceans. Like I love that melody, and the way that Taya was singing it was just very, it was calling, and so of course give it a shot. It now really is a little bit disappointing to see that she's in the place where she is right now, where she's hurt by some of the things that other Christians are saying. And while I don't like it either, I learned to understand that that people who are hurt other people. People who don't have, they're people who just don't have filters. They don't know when to not say something, and everybody comes to God in their own unique way, and from what I see, and I'm not trying to bash on anyone or anything like that. From what I see, there are a lot of people who believe in God, but it's superficially. It's like they love him with their mind, but it's like a mind ego combination, and they never have a profound experience with God. They never have a moment where they're completely transformed by the Spirit. They have an image of the Spirit. They make an idea. They have an imagination of the Spirit, and they say, wow, the Spirit came into my life and I was transformed. But the mind knows better. The mind's the one that says, sure, we have a transformation. But yet the mind is still dominant here. Like the mind is still the one that's leading. The mind is still telling you that go ahead and eat that, go ahead and watch this, go ahead and gossip, go ahead and it's okay. We can just go to church and then all will be forgiven. But there's no transformation. There's conversion, but there's no transformation. And she was mentioning in the conversation that we were having earlier that asking the profound questions, I was mentioning that asking the profound questions was important. Her sort of concern was that when you ask other people, they're going to give you their personal opinion. And I believe that there is a way that you can ask yourself those deep questions and find the answers within, because in order for you to recognize external truth, the truth already has to be in you. It has to be already inside of you in order for you to be able to recognize it. If it wasn't inside of you, it would pass right by you. It could be just clear as day, and you'd be like, all right, so what, big deal, because it's not a part of who you are. But the truth is already embedded in you. It's already sort of a part of what you are. And if you identify with your mind, then the truth will be fleeting, because everything in the mind is fleeting. Nothing is permanent in the mind. Every single thought that comes by always passes. And then the mind becomes addicted to certain thoughts because, well, the brain releases certain chemicals. You become addicted to those chemicals. And so it constantly repeats and reminds you of some past, some sad story or some happy story. And it releases those chemicals, and then you feel, excited or happy about it. And then you begin to have these experiences that are only superficial. It's sort of like a chemical exchange that happens in your body. But when you see past that, when you live past your mind, when you ask the real deep questions and say, what is the truth? The mind goes, ooh, I know. And you say, shh, I wasn't talking to you. Or the heart will go, I know the truth. And you say, shh, I wasn't talking to you either. I'm talking to that which does not pass. The mind will pass, the heart will pass, but that which is true is something completely different. Wait, are we talking about tacos? Yes, we're talking about tacos. um, the truth is already like is infinite, and it's already embedded in you. It's who you are. It's what you are. Now, that's not to be confused with Christ being the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just me. That's just there's a part of you that recognizes Christ as truth because the truth is who you are. It's a part of who you are. Um, you know, asking these difficult questions of yourself is really really important. You can find those answers in yourself, and then of course there's the Bible that can also be a guide to show you, you know, what that truth is. So like for example in that scripture that says be still and know that I am God, it's there, it's telling you to be still. I mean, even if it's wrong, let's just say that I'm not reading it in its content. What happens when my mind is still? What happens when my heart is still? And what happens when I bring not just my body to complete stillness, but my mind to complete stillness, and my emotions to complete stillness? Then what happens? What do I see? What arises? See what happens. I mean, you know, maybe if you don't have that experience, if you haven't had that experience yet, I'd encourage you to try to have it, try to go for it. So that's what we talked about in the previous session, or at least
Well, I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, there's a train. It's gonna be kind of loud.
we were talking about trains in that video too, getting off on the
Oh yeah, we were.
getting off on the different stops, but
Yeah. Well, that was like a gist of basically what we had talked about.
oops, sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
trying to hold
okay.
this thing together
No, it's okay.
as still as possible.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm like not super low. Yeah, it's just I've just never been in. I'm in like a weird. I don't want to use the word weird, but I'm just in a different space than I've ever been, and I've never been here in this space. So I'm really trying to just work through it on my own and figure things out. And like he said, asking myself these questions, trying to, you know, dig deep and answer them for myself, and not look. I don't mind the help from others, right? I encourage the help from others, but I think right now in the headspace that I'm in and the place that I'm at spiritually, I think it's something that I need to figure out a little bit on my own before I start reaching out to people for questions and advice, because there's some questions that I have that I don't even, or even answers that I think that are the answers, and I'm still questioning those answers. So there's just a lot that I have to figure out on my own.
Yeah.
And just really just dig deep, because I don't like the place that I'm in.
Yeah.
It's in a sad, and that's why I got very emotional in the last video. I have those random moments of like I feel scared and worried, and like sometimes I get disappointed in myself, like I'm doing something wrong, and so then or I feel like I'm not doing it the right way, and it's just, and I have so much love to offer, and I feel like that's enough, but sometimes I feel like it's not enough to the world. And I'm like, you know, but I don't know, I'm just gonna continue to just, I'm not running away from this journey that I'm also on, because when he met me, I was barely in the beginning of my coming back into my journey, like my walk, digging deep into my faith, and sitting and praying again, and reading my devotional, and listening to the worship, and going back to church, listening to my pastor, going to women's groups. Like I was in the process of doing that myself. Like I was like, so I'm still on it. I think we all are, though. I think when it comes down to it, it's not how many years you've been a Christian or how many years you've been a follower of Christ. Like I feel like we all have we're still always going to be on this walk. You know, it's just how it is. But I'm working on it. I want to get out of this wave of sadness that I'm in.
Yeah, we'll get out of it. It's just,
I think it also has to do with a lot of the stuff that's going on. Apart from that too, like I just sometimes feel like I can't catch a break. We can't catch a break, and then we don't want to talk about that. Sometimes we don't want to be like, I'm not good with being vulnerable on a big platform. That's why, like that last video, those who saw like that video, and maybe that was God saying, those people that were there, like that's who needed to hear it. Maybe someone who was watching during that live needed to hear me, but that was no one's ever seen me that raw, like emotional, like I had to move away from the camera kind of thing.
That's just too bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay, but I want to explain that that's how much I cry and I get emotional because my love for Christ is so big and my love for people is so huge. My heart is huge, and I don't normally show that side. I don't show that side. He sees it, but I don't show that side, and because of the fear of being rejected, the fear of being made fun of, the fear of being looked at as like, oh, then you're not really that strong in your faith if you're crying over Christ, or like, and it's I've been told that before, like, well, if you believed, you wouldn't be this emotional. And it's like, well, no, I'm emotional about Christ because my heart is big for Christ. Like, he lives within me, so like that's why. And it's okay to do that. And that's why, like, after I was done crying, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Like, I literally just,
yeah, you get emotionally clogged, and sometimes you just need to unclog the emotional drain.
the emotional drain. Yeah, it's
yeah, so that was part of what we talked about. The other part is, yes, we're going through some changes at home, which has led us to try to find another way of sustaining our home.
yeah.
And out of that came the idea for me to go back to teaching guitar. So you will see some tutorials on the channel coming soon. I've been working on the song "Reckless Love," and I've been excited because I've seen some tutorials online on YouTube for this song, and a lot of people, they teach it very plainly. I think, and I think I might have a way to help you all play that song and be more passionate when you're singing that song, and to play it with a little bit more love and gusto, if you will. And I still don't know why I ever stopped teaching, because the thing is that I was teaching in person, and I only had one student that came from the channel where I taught online, and I don't know, it's not the same, right? But I love to teach, and I love how my grandfather taught me, and I've not seen any other instructors teach in the way that I teach, to help people memorize their chords, or to, what exercises to use to sort of strengthen the muscles. And then there's muscle memory that goes along with it, and there's like these little formulas that I created to help people memorize their chords, and their storytelling in the lyrics. And so it doesn't matter if you are wanting to be just to play at church, or you want to just play for your guests, or you're looking to be a recording artist, or you're looking to to be a songwriter. I mean, there's going to be a lesson for you. The good thing here is that I'm not like most instructors who will drag a lesson for 2-3 years and get you to spend money every month to month. The way that I like to teach, and this is the way that I know that you learn and that you will pick up everything that I teach you, is I try to teach you all the basic chords. So there's really just 21 basic chords, your majors, minors, and sevenths, and out of those you can play tons of songs out of those chords. But my goal is to do some ear training so that you can learn to teach yourself, so that you don't need me anymore, so that you can go and teach, finish off by teaching yourself. And so if anyone is interested in guitar lessons, and you want to get started with me, this would be a great help to the channel. You can email me at, what was it? La Familia Guitar Academy.
Yes.
La Familia Guitar Academy at gmail.com. Now, Mary Leanne, I got your email. Okay, I will be responding soon. It's La Familia Guitar Academy at gmail.com. Email me if you're interested on guitar lessons, and then we will get started soon. I just really need to figure out my internet thing, because I'm also wanting to do, so I'm doing private guitar lessons online, but I'm also going to be doing group classes. And the good thing about group classes is that if you can't afford to have one-on-ones, we could do a group class, and then it'll be a lot more affordable. The issue with that is that is you won't be able to you could ask questions, but the attention that I give to each student is going to be sort of limited a little bit. But I do want to do group classes, and then also one-on-ones, one-on-one classes, and it's been exciting. I love to teach, so I can't wait to get started with that. I just really need to fix my internet. Oh, that's the other thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was like the first thing we talked about before we started getting all in the other one.
So that was the first thing that I was talking about. Jazz theory and methods available. No, not for this. I don't think I'm going to be doing any of that. I'm really going to be focusing on beginners. If there are people who want to learn that, maybe we can have that afterwards. But just for starters, we just want to get people right away. Holding the guitar, making sure that we get the right habits of thumb position, wrist position, elbow position, making sure that people who, when they're learning their chords, that they're stretching their neck out to look at the chord and not tilting the guitar over and then, overreaching and getting all crampy in their hands and stuff like that. And just the very basic stuff for beginners so that they can really enjoy to play guitar. So we're going to start off with that for now. Not going to get into like theory and anything else. I'm going to make it as basic as I possibly can. Right. So, one of the things we mentioned that I forgot to mention at the beginning of this is that our internet is down.
It's been down, and it's like been down like before. When it would go down for like a day, half a day, maybe 2 days, but it's been like down like it hasn't even come back for a little bit at all. So.
It hasn't. Yeah, it's been away, and to a certain degree that's been a blessing because I've been able to work on another project that you all are gonna love once we get this guitar thing going. But that means they're going to come to the house on Monday, which means that the Chosen is going to be postponed. I'm not exactly sure when because I got to make sure that they fix it. I don't want to say Monday night or Tuesday even because they need to come and fix it. So it's going to be postponed. So no Chosen on Monday. I will let you know. I'll keep you all posted for sure. Feel free to use my guitar luchador studies. Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah. So Truth Guitar Method has a TikTok. He also
have to click here.
He also shares.
No, never mind.
No, I think it's this way. Yeah, there it is. But maybe we can have like a guest teacher too every once in a while to talk about stuff on the lessons. But I'm gonna be doing a lot more tutorials too. So teaching you all how to play different songs. Like Reckless Love is gonna be the first one that I'm gonna do. Yeah, when the internet is off, God knows you need a break. That's for sure. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come, because when we initially started the channel, of course we were doing reactions, right? And I love doing the reaction to the songs. Unfortunately, a lot of people, when they went back to work, less and less people started watching the reactions now. And I thought, okay, I want to be some kind of value, give value to you all, and not just entertainment value, but have deep conversations. So we started the podcast and started having these conversations with pastors and all that, which I had to put a hold on after the Romans conversation that we had with Pastor Mike and Andrew. And now we're gonna go for the guitar sort of tutorials and all that. And I used to I play Spanish guitar. It's like what I play mostly. So all these romantic bolero songs that my grandfather taught me. So I'll probably do that in another channel for anyone who's interested in learning those Spanish romantic songs that my grandfather taught me. But for now, on this channel, we're gonna do a little bit of everything. Still gonna do the reaction to music. We're still gonna have conversations. We're gonna have tutorials and all that. Just to make sure that we cover everything. I have so many songs and I want to see your reactions. We will eventually get back to those. The internet, with the internet coming back, and I really just need to make sure that we get these guitar lessons squared off, because like we said, there's some changes that are happening at home, and it's either going to require us to have those guitar lessons right from home so that we can still continue up with the channel, or it's going to mean to take a break from the channel completely, and then go get a job,
like a job that, because this is a job, is our line of work, but a job that's going to take more time of us from the channel, where we won't really have as much time to really do the things that we're able to do now because we work from home. You know, having that privilege or that time to do it.
Yeah, and having said that, we appreciate everyone who became a member. So you all are keeping this channel alive. For the people who are members and the people who are like requesting on or made donations on Cash App and PayPal and all of that is appreciated. So we thank you all so much for the love and support on that end. Now, because, well, I mean, there's no harm in saying it, but my brother moved out. My brother was given a good portion of the rent, you know, for the house, and now that he's gone, his portion is gone too. So we're having to make ends meet, and that might mean get a job, but we're gonna see how it all goes. And PayPal, thank you. And so we're gonna see how that all works out. How to start guitar lessons? So usually I used to take 6-year-old and above, but when I'm not there with the student, it makes it difficult because sometimes I like to reposition fingers just so that they know where it goes, and it's a little harder to explain that over video. So I'm thinking 10-year-olds and above. I mean, my nephew just turned. He turned what?
He's gonna be 15.
No, my other nephew.
Oh, he just turned 8.
Yeah, he just turned 8, and I don't see an 8-year-old being able to focus really, you know, online in that same way. So I'm thinking maybe 10 and older would probably be best. And so there will be private and group lessons. So the reason why I haven't shared specifics is because I really want to make sure that I know how much they're going to be and how much time I'm going to be teaching for, because I used to teach at a music academy, and we did half-hour lessons, and the classes were $35 for a half-hour lesson once a week. And I don't know, sometimes half an hour is not enough. Sometimes I'd go 45 minutes to an hour with some students, depending on how eager they are to learn. So I'm thinking maybe we could do like $33 a lesson, and then $33 a lesson for 45 minutes or to an hour a week. Or maybe we could do like group lessons at $20 per student. It'll be in a group setting. Yeah, so 35. Typically, they're between 35 to 45, depending on the style that you're learning. So jazz musicians, they teach $45 an hour for jazz. But just basic, it's usually about 35. No, not 333. Not $333 a lesson. I mean, you know, if anybody wants to pay that. No. But $33 a lesson. Yeah. So more or less. So it'll be about 45 minutes to an hour. Typically, this is how I teach. So the first few lessons, which I'll probably try to make available free online, which is like how to hold a guitar, how to buy a guitar, what are you looking for, you know, like just, you know, holding the guitar, what each finger's job is, little warm-up exercises that you're supposed to practice to strengthen your fingers. Maybe make that available so I'm not wasting your time teaching you all that stuff, right? And then we go through the major chords first, which are only 7 chords, all 7 major chords, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I don't worry about sharps and flats just yet. We teach you that, and then the minors and sevenths, and then I teach you how each of those chords work together to make up a song. Then we pick a song, and I can show you the chords, and you can practice them on your own. Once you have those chords practiced, then we go into rhythm, and then later on I do some exercises to teach you, to train you to listen to a note and find the note, so that after we're done with lessons, you can hear a song on the radio, look for the bass notes on there and go, oh, okay, it switches from G to A, then it goes back to this other chord, and then there's a minor there, boom, 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 and then figure it out on your own. And then this way we can get through the classes as fast as we possibly can, get you playing the guitar as quickly as you possibly can, learning songs as quickly as you can, and then and then that's it. You won't need me anymore, and that's the goal. Is that you don't need it, but that you become sort of your own teacher. When it comes to guitar, I have students still that call me every once in a while and say, "Hey, I'm trying to figure out the song, or I can't figure out this rhythm. Can you help me out?" And I'll have one lesson with them every once in a while. But I'm glad to say that most of the students that I've had have gone to learn on their own. So that's what's great. So yeah, buy a guitar. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I mean, unless you already own one, but choosing the right guitar for you, because some people have bigger fingers, and so having a guitar that the neck is thin, which the strings will be closer to each other, you won't have the room for your fingers to position themselves correctly. That could be a problem. Or maybe it's too wide, and so you're overreaching and overstretching your fingers if you have smaller fingers, things like that. So we'll do that. But as far as the tutorials are concerned, I'm going to post those for free for those people who already know basic chords, and you can follow along with the tutorials. So I did one yesterday on the rhythm of Reckless Love, and I just did a little small portion of it because I just wanted to test it out, and I got a good response from you all saying that you like that and you want more of that. And so definitely going to be doing a little bit more of that. And rhythm, my strength is rhythm. I wasn't much of a lead guitarist. I did wherever I could, but I love rhythm guitar. That just adds the feeling to a song, and it could make it or break it, really. It could really make it or break it. So if you just joined, we don't have internet at home, so the Chosen is not going to happen on Monday. We're doing guitar lessons soon. We're doing tutorials soon. We're still gonna have those deep conversations like we had earlier today with Erika, because I know a lot of you are probably feeling like Erika is feeling right now. At one point of your life, you felt like your faith was scary. Is that a good way of describing it?
Yeah. Well, I'm not afraid of faith. I'm just afraid of where I'm at in my faith. Like, I'm not afraid. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm like going around in circles. I explained it better in the last video.
No,
like,
sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't mean to bring it up. It's just like it's just like it was one of those things that was just like boom. Like I didn't second guess it. Didn't like, and I think I'm trying to word myself exactly the way that I did in the first video. But like I said, the people that saw it, I guess we're supposed to see it. I'm not saying that everybody wasn't supposed to. It was just like I said, I'm just I'm just in a really weird, uncomfortable, and I'm okay with being uncomfortable. It's just I don't want to be stuck here, so it's just getting myself out of this this sad and feeling like I'm not gonna get out of it kind of feeling. Really just finding a way to get back into, because I was really happy at one point, and I'm not saying that I'm unhappy. I know that I'm different, and I just I don't know how to explain it. It's just really sad. And I don't want to be sad anymore. I don't. But I'm in a sad place. And I can't lie about it. Like, I can't just hide it and be like, I'm okay. Like, because, like I said in the other video, like, I know sometimes you guys probably see, like, oh, she looks so pretty. She's smiling. She's happy. I'm actually not okay. But I do a really good job of just making people not worry so much. Because worrying about me, I'm not that important to worry about. So
not true.
You know what I mean? I don't like to make things about me. I don't like, honestly too, another big thing that's been kind of like, I mean, he knows this, I don't talk to you guys about it, but sometimes I don't even feel like I have a good impact on this channel. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm important to be here on this journey with him. And then I'm in like a weird space with my journey. So then I'm like, should I still be here? Like, because of where I'm at in my headspace.
First of all, thank you for being honest with that. I know that's not easy. I think it's important to have these conversations because there are a lot of people who feel the way that you're feeling. It's encouraging to know that there are people who have been where you are right now in your faith, who have loved God and who have, devoted themselves to God, and then some other Christian comes along and says something that you don't agree with, and then it throws you into confusion. It throws you, not that you don't believe anymore, but it throws you into confusion, and that it makes you ask, like, is it really is this really the path that I want to take? Do I want to be where this person is, where do I sound judgmental towards others and then disguise it as truth? Am I is that what I look like to other people when I tell them that I'm Christian? Do they think that I'm judgmental or harsh or not open-minded or whatever you come across, right?
Yeah.
And it's important. I think it's important.
No, it is. It's just, I guess, like, I don't know.
What you just said though about
what?
About how you feel, whether you feel important to the channel or not.
Yeah, it's just hard because I'm like, I know that people have love for me and I see it, and people tell me and they message me, but sometimes I feel like, am I having the same impact? It goes with the comparison. If I have the same impact that you do on people with how wise you are and where you're at with your faith, I feel like sometimes, like, I think that you pass me up and with it, and then I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I don't know, like, doesn't matter.
Amor, come on, you matter. Of course you matter.
No, I know. I mean, well, I don't know that all the time, but I think it's just, that's why I do the comparison a lot with everybody. And then you're my partner, so sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I'm like behind, like I'm like, and then sometimes it doesn't make me feel confident to ask certain questions, because sometimes even when you ask like your deep questions, I don't know how to answer them. So then I'm like, shoot, I read everybody else's answers and I'm like, man, I wish I could think like that, or I wish that I had the same mindset like that. Like, why don't I? And then that's when the questioning of if I have the same love for Christ like everybody else does. And then it makes me feel bad. But not that you're doing anything or that anyone's doing. It's kind of like my own doing. And it's like all in here. I think that's what you said. Like, it's all in my mind. And it's just, I don't know. It's just sometimes I wish that I just wasn't as emotional as I am. But, or, I don't know. Sorry, I wasn't.
It's a good thing to be where you are right now. What you want to do is not stay there, you know. And when you see a question being asked and you see someone answering, just make a mental note, take note of it, and
just, I know, it just makes me feel like I'm not, like I don't know anything, and I get scared to ask questions because I feel like I'm lying, or like I'm a fraud, or like I'm fake, because I don't know everything, or I don't know a lot. And so I get afraid to ask questions, even with people who have been so open to like help me, or you know, like Angela, Roxanne. I say them because I've known them for a long time, or like Mama Bear or Linda and Mary Leanne. And some people have asked me. It's just sometimes I even get intimidated. It's intimidation too, to ask, because I don't know, I get embarrassed that, I don't know, I'm gonna be judged, because usually I'm judged, and I don't want to be judged.
Yeah.
I want to learn, but I'm afraid. I don't know.
Yeah, and that happens. I think everyone comes to that point. There are more people that come to that point, I think, than not. It's better to ask the questions and then know than to pretend to know, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you do that.
No, I don't.
But there are a lot of people who don't ask the questions. They just they pretend to know.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's about being wise or that you know more, or that there's levels, or that somebody's ahead of you or behind you. Like, I think everybody matters equally, spiritually speaking. I think a lot of the times our minds get in the way of that learning, because you like you mentioned, you start comparing, and I think that comparison sort of stunts your growth. You know, it keeps you from growing, because you start comparing, then you start feeling bad, and then what you're being presented with, you don't take, or you don't learn it, right? So then it pushes it away to next time. But I think you're doing great. I think honestly, since I've met you, you've grown tremendously, tremendously. Just also emotionally speaking, you know, you know for sure that you don't react to certain things the way that you used to. Like certain people's comments don't really affect you like they used to. They still affect you, but not to the.
Well, no, it used to get me to a point where like I'd be really depressed, like not getting out of bed, kind of way, or like the other way, and get really angry, and either just not respond in a way that I would be that I should. But I'm just, yeah. Well, you guys got me to cry again.
Yeah, I'm not crying. You're crying, says Mary Leanne.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're zooming in. Don't zoom into my.
I don't know what I don't know. I have no idea what I just did. Ah,
go out.
There it is.
There
Okay. Okay. Well, that was the part of the car, in the back seat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, like you're getting so much love on the. Otra vez. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to scroll.
Maybe because when you swipe.
There it is. Maybe just go like that. Okay,
just
there it is.
do a lighter touch.
Not hold it, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or maybe. Oh, that's the palm of my hand. Hello.
Hello. No,
Yeah.
I know that I don't know. I'm just I don't know. I'm just trying. And I said just try not to like take everything so to heart, but that's what happens when you have such a ginormous heart, and then not a lot of people got to hear like my story. Remember we did that whole thing on stage? So there's like I know that I have come a long way, because if you were to know a little bit more about me and what things that I've gone through, my trauma, the events that happen in my life and what I've had to deal with, then you would maybe understand also too, like where a lot of this is coming from also, and maybe you have to do that one day again, I guess. Not, I guess, I would be open to it. Be a lot more crying, so be prepared for that. But I mean, I do appreciate being able that I can, like I said, this is something that I'm not used to doing, coming on here and openly saying that I don't know this and I don't know that. And that was one of the biggest things that scared me, is to say openly, I don't know.
You've been feeling that for months, and I'm really glad that you finally got out with it, because it's out there now. People know that you feel that way, and I think that you're going to be receiving a lot of love and a lot of help and patience.
Yeah.
That brings a good question, actually. Do you feel the way that you feel because have people been impatient with you, as far as like teaching you something? Have you run into people who are trying to teach you something, and if you don't get it the first time, they become impatient with you?
So then I just don't like to ask anymore. It's one of those things where like I ask and I still don't get it, and I ask again if they can say it a different way, and I still don't get it, or like, and then they look annoyed, like I look like I'm bothering, or like it sounds because through text, and then it makes me feel crummy.
Crummy.
Like,
yeah, I get that.
And embarrassed, and then just like never mind, and then it just I shelter myself, and I'm like, nope, don't ask any more questions, like don't ask anymore, because if you ask, and then that's another thing though too, like that I don't like to do. I don't like to just assume now because a few people did that to me, that means everybody's gonna do it to me. But it's just more of like my panic brain, my what's the word that I'm looking for? There's a word, not panic, but I guess my worry brain, that I'm like, nope, if those 4 people thought that and didn't have patience for me, I don't think anyone's ever gonna have patience with me. Like, and I get anxiety, or just anxiety. Yeah, it makes me anxious. Like, go ahead.
You see, though, you just taught us something very important. Okay, through your experience of dealing with people who were impatient, you just taught all of us to be more patient with people who don't come to understand when we explain something the first time.
Yeah. I just I don't know, I just been hurt so much. Sometimes I get afraid that I'm gonna get hurt again. And you will.
but how you receive is gonna be what makes the difference. Like there are things that people still say on the channel that hurt me, but how I receive it makes a big difference, because I'm like, man, that was hurtful. If you would have said that to 23-year-old Leo, he probably would be a mess right now. But you said it to a 37-year-old Leo, and
A what?
37-year-old Leo, and that Leo is a little bit more uh, patient, less. I care less about things that used to bother me. People's opinions. I still care about some people's opinions, but they bother me less, a lot less. You learn to not care really as you get older. But yeah, for sure.
I just don't want it to turn into where like I get resentful or angry.
Oh yeah, you don't
And I
want.
think that's like what scares me, because at one point I was like angry. Even though I still believed in God, I didn't give it I didn't even give him the time of the day when I was so angry and upset and hurt by people, because I just was like, well, I did this and that, and because I was doing it, I was thinking about, my head was in the wrong space. I was like, well, I'm doing it and I'm still getting hurt by people, so never mind, I'm just not even going to do it anymore. And that's like the wrong way to go about it. So I learned that back then when I was in my teens and then like my early 20s. And so I don't want to get there, because I don't want to turn in. I still want to show love and be loving and care about people, and I don't want it to turn around where I become, which I don't see it happening, but sometimes I've seen it happen with others. I don't want to become heartless, or somebody who's just like, well, that didn't work for me, so I'm just not going to do it, and I don't care anymore. I don't want to do that. And I'm just, yeah, just want everybody, I just want more patience.
Well, there we go. See,
And I'm going to do my best to not take everything that I see or everything that I hear from people, and just that are maybe negative, don't take it so like personal.
Right. So here's a really important question. You just admitted that you wish people were more patient with you, right?
Yeah.
That when they're trying to teach you something, when you're learning something, if you don't understand it the first time, you want them to be patient with you. Yes. Okay, so the question is now, can you be more patient with you? You're learning something. If you don't get it, can you practice being more patient with yourself?
I think that's one of the biggest things that I need to do. And I need to find a way, because I do get frustrated with myself. And it's kind of hard now that I think about that, when you mentioned it, if I don't have patience for myself, how do I expect others to have patience for me? And
you're so wise.
And
I'm not trying to be condescending or anything, but you really, I mean, there it is. That's exactly it. How do you expect other people to be patient with you when you are not patient with you? Be patient with yourself.
I know. That's something that I have to practice more, because I think most of it, because I feel like I'm in like this rush or this race that I have to know everything, or I have to be here and not here at this age, or like, no, like I should be in this level. Like there's really no levels. And I think that's what I don't think, I know that's what I'm doing. There's no rush. My walk is endless. Like there's gonna be maybe some bumps. There's gonna be some things that may try to have me go off the journey and go in a different direction. And if I do, just find my way back on my own, in a sense, and not look to try to jump into somebody else's journey because they're farther ahead. Like I'm not gonna cheat my way or run. I don't even like to run. I'm gonna walk this journey, but
I think, okay, so once we close out this live, I'm going to do my best not to delete it like I deleted the one earlier from today, but you should definitely read some of these comments because they're very encouraging.
Yeah, I will. And I want to thank everybody for letting me be this open, because like I said, I don't think anybody's ever seen or even heard me talk this much. Because I
won't shut my trap?
No, I just think that, no, not that. I just think, honestly, if I could be, I don't even think, I've never told him, when you guys see me do lives and you see me not talk as much, it's the form of, because it's in my head, I'm processing that I'm really intimidated. I'm intimidated. then I get scared that I'm going to say something that doesn't make sense and you guys are not going to understand what I'm trying to say. And I don't know if you guys catch, but sometimes when I do say something, I always question, I hope that makes sense. I'll usually say something along those lines. I don't know if that makes sense, but I know what I'm saying makes sense. But I have to reassure myself by saying that all the time because I'm afraid. So most of the time, that's why you guys should see us. You guys should see us when we're doing the reactions. Like, I'm just going to be honest about it. When we're doing the reactions, I've had a couple meltdowns when we're doing them because I'm trying to look a certain way or be perfect. And my response is, oh my God, that was too wordy. I said something too much. And I have to ask him, I said, does that make sense? Did I say it right? And then I was like, no, let me do it again. And then I get frustrated because I'm like, no. And then I start crying and I'm like, no, I'm going to look like a dummy to the world. Like, I can't do it. Let's do it again. And
but La Familia is very forgiving.
No, I know. And I don't think that, the thing is, it has nothing to do with me thinking that La Familia is going to be looking at me as like I don't know anything, but it's all in here that I'm like worried about how I look and how well of a follower of Christ I am, and my head's over here and like it's just a mess. So I just want to say thank you for making this be a place where I can, me myself, come on here and cry, be vulnerable, ask for help too, in a sense, because I feel like I do need help on just reminding myself that we're all on a journey. That I see some people saying they've been a Christian or they've been a follower of Christ for 30 plus years and they still question and they still doubt, and I have to know that that's okay, that it's part of it, and that's okay. And sometimes also too, it's okay not to be okay and to come on here and say, you know what, I'm not okay today. And I just want to say that I'm really grateful and I am really blessed to have met all of you, and some of you who are new. I'm really glad that you guys are here and a part of La Familia, and you guys are going to get to know me more now, and even the La Familia who's been here since the beginning are going to probably got to know me more today than they have in this last year since I've been kind of more involved.
Yeah. David Wellman says doubting is okay. Are you sure about that?
I got that one.
Got him. I wish I could help. I feel sad for you. You are beautiful. I tell her that every day. Nobody's thinking that. It's just inside your head, girl. You are so strong and don't even know it. You will dig into yourself and find the truth, probably.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And again, I love you all, even the ones that I don't really maybe know fully. I love you. I have a lot of love to give. So does Leonardo, and we are really grateful because he came out of his shell and has been vulnerable with you guys on this channel. I'm breaking out of my own shell and coming on here and being vulnerable and feeling accepted and welcomed and safe here. To do that has been such a blessing. And it's the times that I pray that and give thanks to all of you, because this channel, this whole experience wouldn't be what it is without all of you. You all play a big role. There's no small roles, medium roles. You guys are all just big roles to this whole community. And
now I want cinnamon rolls. I'll just talk about rolls. Okay, I have something for you. Can you give advice to high school students, please? What advice would you give high school students? Think about it, because we have a high schooler right now.
Yeah, I would just, honestly, I would just say just have fun, give it your all, and make memories. Don't date anybody. Literally, don't date anybody. Just.
What about the school part? Let's not forget the school part.
No, I know. I was getting there. That's part of the school part. Enjoying your classes, having fun in your classes, making memories in your classes. Focus and ask the questions. Because that was one of the things. I didn't ask questions in high school either, and I feel like I could have succeeded more in high school if I asked questions, if I went to United, if I studied more, if I went to tutor sessions, stuff like that. Just really just it's easy, and just don't be lazy. That's one of our biggest issues, because we're all intelligent. We become lazy. But I think it's just have fun, ask the questions, help others, be kind, be yourself, all of that. It's just I feel like it just all goes together, and listen to your parents. I know that we don't. If I could go back to my teenage self, I would say listen to my parents more. I would say
don't think that you know more than they do.
Yeah. If I could go back, I would take their advice that they gave me when I was in high school. and I think it would have gone a lot smoother for me.
Mm.
And not I didn't fight my parents like oh, they don't know anything kind of thing, but there were times where I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, like why do they want me to do it that way, you know? And I think that just your parents, they do know, they were there. I know it's hard to believe that your parents were in high school and they were young, but
I mean, some of them are good role models of high school students, and some of them are not. You know, because I wouldn't want my daughter to follow in my footsteps in high school, because I did a lot of time playing my guitar and not enough doing my homework. But yeah, I think one of the biggest advices here is to, one, know who you are, know what you want early on. Two, don't be in such a rush to be an adult, because when you get to our age, you're gonna wish that the only responsibility you had was to wake up in the morning and go to school and not have to worry about bills, or taking care of other people, or all this other stuff. Like I wish that my mom would still be feeding me and paying all the bills.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, she fed me this morning, but that doesn't count. You know what I mean, right? But yeah, the whole dating thing when you're in school, yeah, I think if you could put that on hold for sure. Roxana says she was dating someone in high school, but I don't know. I guess it just depends on how self-aware you are. Like, how much do you know yourself? If you know that it's not going to get in the way of your studies, okay, fine.
I say that so that you can just have, like, when I say have fun, I mean, like, make memories with friends. Don't be so, like I guess,
because you probably won't have any when you get out.
Or like you said, it falls under the don't be such a rush to be an adult. It is fun to be an adult. I'm not saying that being an adult has its like negatives. Yes, it is fun, but also it comes with more responsibility.
Yeah,
a lot more responsibility.
And here's the thing to remember, okay, with that, what she just mentioned, is that sometimes when you're in too much of a rush to grow older, to be older, and you start doing things that are not appropriate for your age, you stunt your growth. So you stop growing, and then eventually you'll get to like your late 20s or your early 30s, and you'll realize that emotionally you're still stuck at 14, because you didn't allow yourself to mature. You forced that maturity to happen, and then you start, you get really, really hurt when someone breaks your heart. You start, you don't want to go to work, and you stop being responsible and doing other things. So, it's, you don't want to stunt your growth. You want to grow and be mature when you're 30, and not be a 30-year-old with childlike mentality, or child tendencies. Strange Fire Gaming, it's hard to find friends because I never find friends that help me grow as Christians. Okay, see, so what I'm seeing here from you is that you're self-aware. You know what you want. So you want someone to help you grow as a Christian, and I think that's great that you know what you want, because there's some kids that go into it not knowing what they want, and then they just make friends out of anyone, practically, even those that you shouldn't be friends with, because they get you in trouble. So I think practice patience, be patient, find out what your relationship is to Christ, so that when you relate to others, you can relate to Christ in the same way. I think that's about as far as my
that's great advice.
will go.
It's like great advice.
And if you don't, I mean, I don't know how young you are, but like, we're here. La Familia is here too. We have people. We
have like people that are still in high school that come on here, and they are really, they become friends, and they have common interests, and they give each other advice. So I think Angela dropped like the Discord.
We have the Discord channel, the Discord server. You're welcome to join us there. I think contact Angela. I hope it's okay. Contact Angela and talk to her, because she could probably position you with or connect you with another teen. Another teen that could befriend you.
Yeah, and may be able to give you advice as well on how to make that work. But
so I saw somebody ask earlier, am I continuing the Chosen? Yes, I am, but right now we have internet problems, so we don't have internet at home. We're having someone come service the house on Monday between 1 and 5, and usually I do these reactions at 2 p.m. So Monday is not going to happen, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen Tuesday, but I will know once they come and fix the internet. If it gets fixed, I'll probably do it Tuesday. If they don't, then I'll probably postpone it again. But Sister Caroline, thank you so much for the super chat.
Thank you, Sister Caroline.
Remember the last episode of The Chosen? Mary didn't feel worthy. She remembered what happened in her life. Christ, you as us. Oh, love you as us.
Oh, love you as us.
Love you as us.
Maybe.
Christ,
you as us.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So
thank you, Sister.
Thank you.
I have the hiccup.
Who's the internet provider? Frontier Communications is the provider there in our hometown. We also have Spectrum servicing that area. But I just gotta look into it. That's the internet service that my mom had before I moved in there. So
yeah.
So that's what we have. I'm probably gonna switch soon. Yeah. Anything you want to add, love?
I just want to say thank you to everybody here for just being who you are and coming here and making it possible and safe for me to do what I did today. And like being open to hearing me and all the beautiful. I'm gonna go back and read this and read your guys' comments, and I appreciate you all very much, and I love you all with all my heart, and my heart is big, so I have a lot of love to give you, and I'm grateful for you all.
David Wellman, thank you for the 333.
Yes, thank you so much.
Spectrum is what I have. Yeah, I think I'm going to be switching. Well, actually, I'm going to give them an opportunity. If they can't fix it this weekend, this week, I'm just going to make the switch. That's all. That's it. Roxana, yes, The Chosen, same hour. Mary Leanne, yes, we will pray for you. I'm sorry you're feeling sick after chemotherapy. We will definitely be praying for you. I have to go. It's 2 a.m. Andy, thank you. Have a good evening. We love you too.
Yes, we love you all very much.
Lena says, I love watching you guys. I'm new. God bless you. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, welcome to La Familia. We hope to see you on more live chats. It is beautiful to watch y'all's journey in love and faith. Emily, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we are relieved, really, that we're able to come on here and be open. Because I know a lot of people, they join, let's just say that they join, the Christian community, and then they're very reserved, or they hold back on what they're feeling or how they're viewing things or what they're afraid of. And we're glad to have a wonderful, supportive community like you all have been, and help us, be there with us, because it hasn't always been happy. You already know the stories, or some of you already know the stories, like what happened with my stepdad last year, and the struggle that came with that, and then your love and support came in at a perfect time to help sustain our house. And now we have another issue that happened at home. My brother just left the house, so we're having to figure out another way of sustaining. But for those of you who want to help out, you can help out by sharing the channel, watching the older videos too. That helps out too.
Commenting on them.
Commenting on them, hitting the like button. Those are the easy stuff. The other stuff is becoming a member and helping support in that fashion. It's not mandatory, but it is appreciated. Your donations on Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of that stuff has been really helpful to us as well. And then now we're gonna have guitar lessons, and so now go have tacos. Oh yes, thank you. Don't tell me twice. Thanks. And so, like, joining the guitar lessons. So if anybody's interested in guitar lessons, you can email us at La Familia Guitar Academy at gmail.com. La Familia Guitar Academy at gmail.com. I already got 2 emails so far. So if anybody else is interested in learning guitar, I'll be more than happy to teach you all, and also look out for the tutorials. It also helps if you go on TikTok. I'm wanting to get 1,000 followers on TikTok so I can do lives on TikTok as well, because I know that we can do like little short tutorials there as well for other people. So if you know anybody who's more of a TikTok user than they are on YouTube, share my the TikTok is Tower of Torres. Tower of Torres is what I'm at underneath there. All right. I'm interested in burning guitar Hendrix style. Yes, we could do that too. I have I can suggest different types of uh, lighter fluids and stuff like that. Thank you, Angela, for posting it. La Familia Guitar Academy, and different. You can do it with a match. You can do it with a lighter. You can do it with a Zippo lighter. You can do with one of those interesting little blowtorch lighters or whatever, whatever they're called. You can use a magnifying glass, or you can go old style and do it with sticks and stones. But yes, familia, we want to thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you so much. We can't wait to see you again.
Yes, we
All
love
right?
you.
We love you all. Hasta luego. Peace. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes.
Make sure you save it.
Yes.